Let's start with the prompt. Which choice best states the function of the underlined sentence in the overall structure of the text? To understand that, we need to understand what's going on in the text as a whole. So let's go ahead and start reading. This text is from an 1854 novel. The stranger still stood in the exact middle of the cottage where he had first planted himself. His singularity impelled a closer scrutiny. A lean, gloomy figure, his hair dark and lank, mattedly streaked over his brow. His sunken pitfalls of eyes were ringed by indigo halos and played with an innocuous sort of lightning, the gleam without the bolt. The whole man was dripping. He stood in a puddle on the bare oak floor, his strange walking stick vertically resting at his side. So we're seeing an entire description of a man. He was lean, gloomy, dark, lank, his hair streaked over his brow, sunken eyes, and his sunken pitfalls of eyes were ringed by indigo halos, the gleam without the bolt. So his eyes had something amazing about them, but also lacked something amazing. That's what I'm taking from that. The whole man was dripping. He stood in a puddle on the bare floor, his strained stick resting at his side. So we're getting this really, really awkward description of a person. But the underlined sentence is saying his singularity impelled a closer scrutiny. So it's kind of calling us in to listen to this description of the man. His singularity impelled, so made you want to scrutinize him more closely. And then we get the description. So it's kind of selling us on the description. That's how I describe it. So looking at the answers, A, elaborates on a previous sentence description of the character. We're not really seeing a description before that. B, introduces the setting that's described in the sentences that follow. I wouldn't call it a setting, I'd call it a person. C, it establishes a contrast with the description in the previous sentence. There's not really a previous description to contrast with. And D, sets up the character description presented in the sentences that follow. And that's very similar to what I said in my own words. So the answer here is D.